Hi everyone, I'm Jessica and I'm a nurse practitioner and I'm certified in functional medicine. I'm here today to talk to you about just some basic building blocks that you can put into place to provide a foundation for everyday health. Of course, a quick legal disclaimer, please take a minute and read through that and obviously talk with your healthcare provider before making any changes to your health. So there is just so much information out there on healthy living these days, and it's hard to sort through everything to know what things actually help, what things are sustainable for your family, what things are worth it. So when I was going through my functional medicine training, I tried to pull out the things that really give you the most bang for your buck when it comes to health. And I put all that together into a program called Foundational Stones, a faith-based guide for healthy living. And that is available at EbenezerWellnessLLC.com in the form of an online course with discussion questions and toolkits and all of the bells and whistles. But I'm sensitive to the fact that any financial investment might be too much for some people right now. So I wanted to give everybody just a place to start. So I'm going to go over the foundational stones right now for you and just give you a brief overview of each one. They're organized in a way to help provide momentum for you in the journey, and again, just to give you a place to start with some things that you can put into your life in a sustainable way to set your body up well for health. All right, so if we want to learn how to take good care of our bodies, we have to go back to our original design. So obviously God created man in Eden in a perfect environment, perfect nutrient intake, plenty of water, there was clear identity and purpose, all of the beautiful things. But after the fall, that is certainly not the reality we live in. There are deficiencies and toxins, and we're confused about our identity and purpose, and we're filled with stress and all of these things that really just wreck our health. So as believers trying to steward our health well, we want to try to get back as close as we can to that original design, knowing that we live in an imperfect world now. So this is an overview of the 7 foundational stones. And again, I designed this to provide momentum on the journey with some of the more important ones at the beginning. And it is all designed to help push us back to how God intended us to live as best we can in a fallen world. So the first one's pray and plan, and then breathe, sleep, hydrate, move, fuel, and detox. And I'll go over each one a little bit here in the next slides. So prayer is the crucial first piece of this whole process. It's here where we take a step back and align our hearts with God's and pray for his perspective and his strength for the journey. And I included plan as well because the two are very interrelated. We pray about what we're going to plan and what steps God wants us to take. So it's important to write it down. Grab a journal and write down your why, some goals that you have, what your motivation is in this journey. And also write down your house, practical steps that you're going to take or things that you're going to use to help you accomplish those goals, be it SMART goals or an accountability partner, things like that. Having it written down gives you something objective that you can look back on during difficult points in the journey, and it can help keep you on a path to success. I want to take a minute here though and just highlight something I want you to watch for in functional medicine and wellness circles, and that's an idolization of wellness. When we think about goals that we have, often wellness is the ultimate goal, but the problem is we're not in complete control of our wellness. We could be doing everything right and something tragic could happen that takes away our wellness. And if that is our ultimate goal, we're going to be devastated. But if faithfulness to God and good stewardship and growing on our relationship with him are our ultimate goals, then no matter what circumstances surround us, we can still be pursuing those and still be successful in those. So wellness is great and it is definitely something to strive for, but I just want to caution you that it does not become an idol in our life. So pray and plan. This is the crucial first piece to the whole process. Okay, so our next foundational stone is breathe. But before I go into that one, I want to explain why I put that one second and why it's so important. So your body has something called the autonomic nervous system, and it's basically stuff that happens without you even consciously making it happen. And two parts of that are the sympathetic and the parasympathetic. So the sympathetic is what drives our fight, flight, or freeze response. So if that tiger is chasing us in a split second, your body has everything it needs to make those crucial survival decisions. But most of the time, we're supposed to be in that parasympathetic rest and digest state where our body, it kind of calms everything down. But the problem is it's not necessarily about the stressor, but our perception of the stressor. And many times we live in a chronic sympathetic state. So this kind of low level underlying stress that is a fueler of a lot of chronic disease. So in order to combat that, I have Breathe here as our second foundational stone. So I'll go into that. So our second foundational stone is Breathe. And just take a second and take a deep breath now. There's just something so calming about a deep breath. So there's a lot of different things listed there that you can look at, ways to push your body back into that parasympathetic state, but breathing is one of the best ways to do that. Sleep is another really critical foundational stone. I know it's not always easy to fit in that time for sleep, but it really does pay off. Sleep is when your body does a lot of the healing and just hormone production, all of these different things that happen when we're sleeping. So we have to give our body time to get into that deep, restful state of sleep. And there are things that we can do, throughout the day to set our body up well for sleep. So I have some of them listed there that you can take a look at. Hydrate is the next one. There's just really no replacement for good, pure water. So make sure you're drinking enough water. Try to cut out the sugary drinks. Those can just do a lot of damage to health, especially in the long term. So make sure you're hydrating your body well. All right, movement is the next one. Sedentary lifestyle is a huge risk factor for chronic disease. So we want to get our bodies moving as much as we can. So many benefits of exercise: stress reduction, helps with insulin resistance, so lots of different benefits. But do something you enjoy. If you enjoy biking or walking or dancing, pick something you enjoy and try to incorporate it into your daily routine. I do want to highlight interval training. It is where you do a short burst of activity followed by a recovery period. So you can download a free interval timer on your phone. So you might set it for maybe 30 seconds with a 90-second recovery time. So, you would do biking 30 seconds the fastest you can and then have that 90-second recovery. And you repeat that cycle for maybe, 10 minutes or 20 minutes, whatever you have time for. So that's a great way to get that movement in and really help boost your metabolism. All right, fuel. This is a big one. What we are putting in our bodies really does matter, and it really does either make or break our health. So we want to get as close to God's design as possible. So fruits, vegetables, animal products, eggs, things like that are the direction that we want to go, and away from the more processed foods, chemicals, toxins, things like that. Sometimes that brings a stewardship aspect into play because the organic things, the grass-fed meats, they can be more expensive. So again, we're going to do the best we can with the information and resources that we have, and we're going to trust God for the rest. But that's the direction that we want to go, are whole foods, again, things from plants and animals, and away from the more processed chemical things. In general, a more paleo or Mediterranean style is going to be less inflammatory. In general as well, insulin resistance is a huge thing in our society today because of the high sugar intake. So as far as we can get away from sugar, the better, even if we have to switch to more natural sweeteners like maple syrup or honey or coconut sugar or something like that. But we want to try to limit sugar as much as we can. And going along with that insulin resistance, trying to get a good 10 to 12 hour overnight fast is often very helpful. It might not be advisable for everyone. Talk to your doctor about if that would be right for you. But in general, a good overnight fast of 10 to 12 hours and then eating a high protein meal within about an hour of waking up is going to set you up well. As you're thinking about building your meals, try to think of a source of protein, a healthy fat, and a source of fiber for each meal and kind of build from there. And this is going to look different for different people. I like to keep things simple. So I kind of have my go-tos that I go through and just rotate through them. I'm not super creative in my meal planning, but you can take that staple and you can expand it with whatever flair you would like. And there's tons of resources online. But in general, those are things to think about when it comes to fueling our body. And the last one is detox. We want to try to limit our exposure to toxins and at the same time boost our body's own ability to deal with those toxins and process them. So I have some suggestions there, but I want to just take a minute and just again highlight a problem that is often rampant in wellness circles, and that's just this fear of everything. I mean, we live in a fallen world. We know it's not going to be perfect, but there can just be this fear of all toxins, and that is going to put us into that low level sympathetic state, and it's going to do more harm than good. So we want to look at this from a stewardship model, from a place of peace and that power, love, and sound mind that God gives us. We want to make wise decisions for our family without the fear. So that's an overview of the 7 foundational stones. I hope it's helpful just to give you a place to start and some things to think through as you make these decisions regarding health for yourself and for your family. And as you're going through them, just keep in mind the core values of humility, discernment, stewardship, and grace. If you're not familiar with them, you can check out that About Us video that I did on Ebenezer Wellness, and I go into them a little more. But we do the best we can with the information and resources that we have, and we trust God for the rest. Thank you so much for watching, and if you want any additional information about the Foundational Stones program, you can check out www.ebenezerwellnessllc.com. I pray that God's peace and wisdom just guide you each step of the way as you seek to build a healthy foundation for you and your family.